cute? It's a Jeep.
Oh, it's so cool.
So we are on the way to pick up this 1997 Jeep Cherokee Country. And it's actually just we're getting a really good buy on it from a friend. And my daughter is going to need a vehicle to drive very soon. Not this daughter, another daughter. There it is. All right, it's ours. Temperature looks good, although I know it's low on coolant. Oil pressure looks good. Need some gas, but that's normal for a Jeep. And the volts on the battery look good, or the alternator. Mileage isn't terrible for 97. What do you think?
I really like it.
Okay, so 1997 Jeep Cherokee Country, 124,000 miles on it. So my daughter here, she's learning to drive. This is gonna be the first vehicle that she drives. We're gonna fix it up a bit. There's a lot to do to it. So cosmetically, the paint is not perfect, but hey, it's a beginner car, so that's fine. It has not been in any accidents except for a little dent on the back, which we can take care of. But it does need a lot of TLC.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot to do with it. We just have to check to make sure all the fluids are good, check the brakes, check the tires. One of the things that I really liked about it is it's never been in an accident, which is great. Let's take a quick look at the engine. Yep, pull that and then lift it up. And then there's a little bar over there, lift that up and it goes in that hole. So this is the same engine I have in my other two Jeeps. So this is the inline 6. You know what that means?
No.
So it means it has 6 cylinders and they're all in line. 1, 2, 3. Actually, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Starts at the front and goes to the back. But it's inline, meaning they're all in a straight line, as opposed to like a V6 where pistons are on both sides.
Okay.
Okay? So it's the same engine I have on my other Jeeps, which is great because I know how to work on them really well. So the engine actually looks in really good shape. It sounds great. You see like these little bits of oil. This is around a little valve here. That's just typical. None of that I'm worried about. A lot of times these get oil around the valve cover. You've actually worked on these.
Yeah?
You remember working on the valves? Mm-hmm. You took those apart. The battery, I actually don't know how old it is, but it's kind of corroded. A little bit of oil and gunk on there, but we'll get that all cleaned up. The rest of the engine, it actually looks pretty decent. I mean, nothing that I'm super worried about, except for when I originally looked at it, the coolant level was low. Do you know what the engine coolant does?
Is that what cools it down?
That's what cools it down, exactly right. So right now it's not hot. So the coolant level, he added some water to it, which we'll need to drain and put in proper coolant. But the coolant level being low can be a little concerning. We'll keep an eye on it. It could mean a head gasket leak, which we'll talk about later. But overall, I do think the engine is in good shape. I think he just wasn't driving it much and he just didn't notice that the coolant was low, the reservoir was low, but overall I think it's okay. So I'll go ahead and start it up. We'll take a listen to it and you guys can check this out. Sounds pretty darn good for a 97.
Ready?
Okay. And what I mean by the engine sounds great, there's no knocking or pinging or tinging, anything like that. Actually, we might start up this Jeep so you can just hear that real quick, because you can hear this one is running real rough and it has like a knock to it. And I think that's just, honestly, I think it's just not getting enough fuel on this Jeep. It's kind of hard to hear the knocking on this engine. You can hear it a lot better when you're driving down the road. But if you're having any issues with your valve train, any knocking or anything, be sure to check out Engine Tech's website. This video is sponsored by them. They carry everything you need, from lifters to push rods to valve seals, rocker arms, springs, just everything. They are listed in the description below. What?
My car sounds weird.
What?
My car sounds weird.
How so?
Do you want to hear it?
Yeah. Huh, listen to that. So what happens when you run your car radio, run your vehicle, well, run the car radio without the vehicle running, you kill the battery. So that ticking noise you hear is the starter trying to start the engine, but it doesn't have enough juice from the battery to turn the engine over. It's just enough to get the starter to click, but that's it.
Okay.
And underneath, it has all of the typical old Jeep issues. Leaking differential, tie rods are all shot. At least it's not leaf springs, you know, like my old YJs. So here we've got like our wheel, right? Going to our axle.
Yep.
And now the axle, when the axle is turning, this is the differential and there's fluid in there. Can you see how this cover is all oily? That's not a big deal. It means it's been leaking a little bit of fluid, so we just got to replace the gasket on there and put new fluid in it. Not a big deal. But then now these things here, see how this is all just gunky and torn up?
Yeah.
This is a boot on the end of a tie rod. We've got to replace those. Those can affect your steering. It's not going to like fall apart, but it'll just make the handling a little bit harder.
Okay.
And the brakes. We're gonna have to take a real close look at the brake pads, make sure they're all in good shape. Farther underneath, we got the oil pan there. It's all covered in oil. Very typical of a lot of these older Jeeps. So the oil pan might be leaking, or the rear main oil seal, which we know how to fix. So some maintenance we're gonna have to do under here. Alright, so lots to do. What do you think? Overall, a great vehicle.
Are you asking me?
Oh. No, I'm asking that guy behind you.
No, I really like it. It's so cool.
So the body is actually in really good shape. We'll take a quick look at the interior as well. Alright, let's take a look.
Interior's really good. I don't. What? Yeah, the interior's in really, really good shape. I don't really see anything that we could fix in the interior. It looks really good.
Tires are a little chalky, a few little surface cracks, some tread left. Not terrible, but we'll probably be getting new shoes for it soon. Oh, and it has air conditioning, something my other two Wranglers don't have. All right, so first thing we got to do is we got to check all the fluids on it. Oil, transmission, differentials, brake fluid. We're gonna go through everything. Then the next thing I want to do is check the brakes. Brakes, obviously stopping's important. Yes, right?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, so we're gonna check the brakes. Those are gonna be the first few things that we do, but this will be a fun project that we get to work on together. Right?
Yeah.
Yay!